And now it's time for another Board Game Brawl Top 10 with Nick Meanahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com.
Hey now, my name is Nick, this is Board Game Brawl, and it is time for another fabulous Top 10 list. This time we're going to do a quick one. This is my Top 10 anticipated games of this point in time. So if I do more of these in the future, this will be the 2015 edition. And I feel like I wanted to do this in the past, and the reason that I didn't do it until this point was because, well, you know, I do top 10 anticipated games of Gen Con, top 10 anticipated games of Essen. That pretty much covers most of the year. But now we're in this weird period. It's March. Well, it's going to be April tomorrow. And I assure you this is not an April Fool's video. And although I actually toyed with the idea of making this an April Fool's video and having like a bunch of Hasbro and Play School games and like a jigsaw puzzle for my number 2, things like that. I just didn't have the heart for it. But in any event, for this one, there's just so many cool games in the near future, games that may even come out before Gen Con, games that have been perpetually delayed that I'm still waiting on, that I just wanted to put together a list and get those out there. I usually keep up to date with these on my Hot 10 list of Board Game Geek, although I haven't been keeping that up to date in the last couple of months. But in any event, I just wanted to show you some of the really cool stuff that's coming out soon. This is a fantastic time to be into board games, and there's some great stuff that have been envisioned by designers and publishers. Without further ado, let's get to it. My number 10 is Conan, and yes, I backed this project at almost literally the last minute. It was like 40 minutes before the Kickstarter was about to end, and I said, screw it. And I ended up backing it because I just could not say no to the mountain of plastic, high quality, awesome looking plastic that came in this box. I'm not a huge fan of Conan. I was never like into Conan when I was younger, not even the terrible animated series, but the game just looks amazing. The artwork and the design, and I mentioned the miniatures, but the fact that it's quest-based and it's one versus all, which are games that I really enjoy. The fact that there are famous designers that I love, like I think Bruno Cathala and Antoine Bauza, who will be writing scenarios for the game. I mean, it just seems really, really amazing. I've heard some details about the gameplay system, and it seems very interesting how that all works out. And it's almost reminiscent of Level 7 Omega Protocol, how you can feed the Overlord power to fuel his forces and so on. It's sort of reminiscent of that. But it just looks great. I was a doubter at first, but I'm totally on board now, and I can't wait for it. That is my number 10 anticipated game, Conan. My number 9 is Above and Below from Red Raven Games. Red Raven Games has an almost spotless record with me as far as I'm concerned. Of course, I haven't played a couple of their games. Maybe that's why it's spotless at this point. But still, City of Iron is fantastic, and so Empires of the Void is good. Ancient World I haven't played yet, but it's got a really good reputation. So I am very, very eager for Above and Below, not just for those reasons, but because the game looks beautiful. The artwork style, I mean, Ryan Lawcat is both the owner of the company, the designer, and the artist for these games. And even though he's done the art for the other games, the style that he's using for this game just looks great. It's been compared to Miyazaki, and I can definitely see that. But on top of that, while this is supposed to be a Euro-style game, it has this interesting storytelling element. Now, storytelling games have been very hit and miss for me, usually miss, but if it can be integrated in a cool way and learn from the mistakes of those other games that I don't like, I think this could be amazing, and I'm certainly hopeful that it is. That is Above and Below from Red Raven Games. My number 8 is from Asmodee Games, and the owner of Asmodee Games and lead designer of this game I'm about to talk about, Chris Cheslick, has said in an interview that this game has been as delayed as Half-Life 3. I don't know if that's true or not, but it certainly feels like it. This game is called Consequential, and I had this on my list of top 10 anticipated games of Gen Con 2013. Now, I knew that game wasn't actually going to be at Gen Con, but they were supposed to be doing previews, and it was going to be coming very close after the new year, and here we are. They still have not released it. They keep saying that they're going to do a Kickstarter. It's supposedly coming this summer. I'll believe it when I see it, but the game looks fantastic. It is a cooperative storytelling game, like almost an RPG adventure in board game form, but it uses an app. This game has been in development with an app since before XCOM or Alchemist, I think, were even in development, and hopefully this one can be utilized very, very well. I'm still a little bit hesitant on it, but it still looks amazing to me. That is Consequential from Asmodee Games. My number 7 is Xenoshift from Cool Mini or Not, and I felt kind of weird putting this on my list because I actually just got a notice today that hopefully soon my copy will be shipping out. So I may actually have it maybe by the end of the week. I don't know. So it's anticipated, but hopefully not for too much longer. But still, it had to go on here in good conscience because I haven't played it yet, and I really, really want to. It's a fully cooperative deck building game, which right off the bat, those two words together means I'm interested. And this one has a cool a gritty science fiction theme of trying to survive against oncoming alien hordes, Starship Trooper style. That's immediately what I thought of when I first saw this game on Kickstarter, and I couldn't wait to back it. I'm incredibly excited to get this. Cool Mini or not, man, and they already have a great pedigree with me, and this one already has a ton of buzz around it. That is Xenoshift from Cool Mini or Not. My number 6 should also be out very soon. That is Spectre Ops from Plaid Hat Games, co-published with Nazca Games, and the designer and owner of that company, Emerson Matsuchi, who's a great guy. He did Volt, which is a game that I really enjoy, and squeaked onto my top 100 as well. But Spectre Ops is a very different game from Volt. This is a one versus all game that's sort of like sci-fi Scotland Yard, I guess, where one player in this futuristic dystopia, one player is trying to sneak into this facility and get past the hunters that are of the facility who are trying to track him down and kill him. It has awesome components, fantastic artwork in miniatures, and I've already heard great things about it. It looks great. I mean, it's Plaid Hat teamed up with one of my favorite designers. How could you go wrong with that? That is Spectre Ops from Plaid Hat and Nazca Games. My number 5 is probably the game I know the least about on this list, but I suppose that's a testament to just how excited I am about it that it's so high on the list. It's called Apocrypha Adventure Card Game from designer Mike Selinker and Lone Shark Games. Now, does that title sound vaguely reminiscent of anything? That is because Mike Selinker was a designer of the Pathfinder Adventure Card Game, and this is going to be a game in that same vein, however with a very different theme. All the imagery that I've seen and the little bits of story blurb that I've seen have led me to think that it's sort of a World of Darkness type world, which immediately has me interested. I've also heard that the system for leveling up in this game is going to be much more fleshed out, and it's supposed to be more of a have some more role-playing game elements to it. I don't know how true any of that is, but I am certainly very excited about it. I still enjoy the Pathfinder Adventure Card Game, even though it's sort of waned in my estimation, but this game looks like it could really reinvigorate that entire system, and I certainly hope I get a chance to give it a try in the near future. Who knows when it's coming out, but that is Apocrypha Adventure Card Game from Lone Shark Games. Believe it or not, my number 4 is a standalone expansion for Ascension. That is the next one, which is Ascension Realm of Champions. Now look, I've owned Ascension for a very long time. I've played it a lot. Even though I keep buying all the expansions, and even though the last few expansions were fantastic, I did not think that the game had that much more to show me, and that they should probably move on to other pastures with their game design as Stoneblade Entertainment. But this looks amazing! Every person now gets a character that they can play as and different special abilities, and now some of the cards that they showed off just seem incredibly interesting. Like, they've got monsters that now belong to factions. I guess they're like traitors to their factions. That's so cool. I mean, it seems like such an obvious, simple thing to add, but when you combine that with the fact that the game is genuinely starting to look good. The artist that they're using, I believe, has finally hit their stride, and you know, I'm willing to say when I wasn't wrong before, but I'm willing to say when things have changed and when someone deserves to be praised, and the artwork is starting to look great. Some pieces of art I genuinely love. So when you combine that all together, I think this is like the golden age of Ascension, or for Ascension at least, because it's really great, and I can't wait to see what they do with this set. That is Ascension Dawn of Champions. My number 3 is the last of the games on this list that will be out in the very near future, hopefully within a couple of weeks. That is Super Dungeon Explorer: The Forgotten King. I just immediately backed this on Kickstarter. I could not help myself. I love Super Dungeon Explorer, and the miniatures, they have really stepped up their game over at Soda Pop Miniatures. The miniatures are amazing. This gives a full co-op mode now, the arcade mode. They're finally including more varied tiles, so you're not stuck with the same, I mean, they're kind of add-ons, but you're not stuck with the same lava and gemstone cavern tiles from the original set, and there's just tons of different monsters and characters, and there's so much to this game, and it's at the core of it, though, it's more of what I already loved about the game, so I cannot wait for it. Easily on this list, one of the very first games I thought of, Super Dungeon Explorer: The Forgotten King. My number 2 kind of came out of nowhere a couple of months ago, and I couldn't stop talking about it. I posted on Facebook and Twitter about it, and just love talking to people about it and showing it off. That is from Yellow Games, The Big Book of Madness. This hits on all notes for me just at a cursory glance. Deck building, cooperative, artwork from the guy Nyade who does the artwork for Seasons. Come on! Those 3 things together is just killer, and I'm immediately going to buy it. No doubt in my mind. But even the theme is amazing, and it sounds very similar to Cardcaptor Sakura, oddly enough, where people find this book and they open the book and it releases all of these like evil spirits and things. So like kids at a magician's academy, and now they have to go and track down these pages, these demon pages, and put them back in the book. Amazing theme, amazing artwork, great sounding gameplay mechanics. Will they hold up? Who knows? But for right now, I am so into this game and I can't wait to get it. There's only one game I've wanted more than that, but the Big Book of Madness from Yellow should definitely be on your radar. And finally, nobody who's like really familiar with my channel or has heard me talk in the past or knows my Kickstarter update segments or my Q&As, none of those people should have been surprised by this. But for those of you that are, my number 1 most anticipated game is Kingdom Death Monster from Kingdom Death is the name of the company, I think. Listen, this was one of the 2 or 3 first Kickstarter projects I ever backed. It was my first like awesome edge of your seat Kickstarter experience where I'm seeing all these stretch goals get unlocked and it's just amazing. And listen, when you cut all that away, when you cut away the amount of money that it made and the hype and the sort of infamy that it has bred since that time, I am still fascinated by every single aspect of this game. The dark, hell-like world that seems to be an afterlife, but maybe it's an alternate world, or maybe it's just a dream, or who knows? You don't know. There's no answers. Maybe there are no answers. Maybe there was just like this crazy heavy metal stuff that this guy came up with and decided to weave a world out of it with no real basis. But maybe it's just this amazing thing, a mystery to be solved. The artwork is stunning. The miniatures in this game. Now, I'm not a miniatures connoisseur, but I have heard people like Beasts of War talk about the miniatures in this game, and they cannot be beat. They cannot be rivaled, the quality of them. And the gameplay system, which is both cooperative and dungeon crawling, and the police are coming to pull me away now, but the dungeon crawling and quest-based and civilization-based. You are building a civilization in this like hell world. All of this stuff sounds amazing. Is it? Who knows? There's people saying that this guy doesn't know how to design games, and it's just going to be a total Emperor's New Clothes type thing, and it's just going to be a disaster. But I have to tell you, at this point, I am still on board. It still looks phenomenal. The artwork, the miniatures, if nothing else, you are getting a game that will be incredibly beautiful forever. And I mean, it's supposed to be coming out this summer. Who knows? It has been delayed for 2 years at this point, but I still am keeping the faith. Kingdom Death Monster, my number 1 most anticipated game. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the list, and take care.
Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.